Concordia, can I ask an odd question? If you must. Are you still driven by the idea of revenge? Yes, certainly. When I recall what happened, I feel anger as raw as the day it happened. House Colvan ruined us and killed so many. For what purpose? I owe it to the memory of those lost to see some manner of requital done. I see. But Anataeus, what prompted you to continue down this path with me? I don't know. I haven't thought about it too much. We've come quite a long way for you to remain so unaware. I suppose it's a matter of who I am. If it were not for our goals, what reason would I have to exist? I must practice alchemy. It's my purpose. Is he gonna blow up some Colvan? I think so. I think that's where this is going. Unstable compound. It doesn't sound like it's a poison. This sounds like it's gonna blow up. So I only have another 15 minutes before I gotta go. So I'll probably take a crack at it and see how far I go. Alright, I think me making a single bond here took long enough. That's gonna be it for the day, but I'll tackle this next time. Last time, I started unstable compound when I was a little bit tired, and then remade the solution, I think twice, and then that was it. Yeah, because I had made a triangle of these instead of them in this sort of configuration. So right now I have 1 and 2 starting it off. And then 3 grabs it. We're gonna need to find a way to put more of these on. And the problem here is that they're all the way over here. So what do we want to do to kind of solve for that? Because this can start rotating it and we can make this kind of tri-shape here. But we still need to get a fire over so we can attach it. I was clearly very tired because this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, looking forward at all. I don't think it's a bad approach. But the final product should end up on the same side that we're pulling from. Or at least one of them. Can I revamp this? I know I already did this in the last episode. But if we have a 2 down here with the fire, it makes it a little bit easier to have it on this side. Yeah, this is gonna have to be remade then. Not a bad thing. considering it's been a little bit. So I'm remaking what I did just a second ago. And it's simpler. Wow, that's kind of crazy. And then 3, we'll pick it up when this is done and just swing it out. Yep, just swing it. Easy. Not quite. So it's facing here. Yep, this is the problem I had the last time. Nice. That was a really quick solution and it gets us slightly closer to what we want. I might have 3 push it out just a little bit more. To get it nice and far. So stuff doesn't get backed up. Because this is the other option, but I'm too worried that the mechanics of making this crazy thing will end up being too big. I think this is large enough that it cannot hit. Yeah, so this can be spun at an axis if it's this far away, which is important to know. So when it releases, 4 pick it up and swing it down. The next thing they come up with will be a pair. Which is not what we want. We have to make this whole thing attached. Because we need the 3 bonds off of this one spot. Interesting. So back to the drawing board. This is great. But we can't start again here. Unless we make it go through another one of these. With different grippers pulling, but we need stuff from here. Well, this is what the fresh eyes are for, right? So that you can see these problems faster than when I was on my last legs the last time. Let's start over once again, but truly fresh this time. The last time I was kind of working off of what I had figured out the last time, and it wasn't quite what we wanted it to be. We have to make a center and find a mechanism to add one, add one, add one, and pass it along this thing. And then I think the last product might actually be just to grab these end bits. Because these can be made in pairs. The problem is them getting attached. I really think that if we could make just this core try thing here, that would be the best, because then the rest stuck on aren't as crazy. manipulating this 180 degrees a couple times will be definitely the harder feat than tacking these on or whatever. But I think having one source of that will be easier. Hopefully we'll have both, but the idea would be that this is making the center, this is making the outside, just for reasonability here. And we'll be kind of like spinning the thing around, right? Oops, I didn't mean to select both. So if we're spinning this around, we're gonna want it to be kind of further out, honestly, so that we're able to manipulate it a little bit easier. This is not a great spot for this. Here might be a little better. This is such an interesting puzzle. This one feels more different than some of the other ones that we've come across so far. I just want this to go over and over. We might need to space it out a little bit, but the idea is that all of them will come down this way. Once it lets go, I think it can grab it, extend one, go down. Nice. Start again. I'm gonna say that this is gonna need to be slightly more spaced out so that it has time to manipulate it in the future. It's so funny, and it just doesn't quite hit. Once this is here, we actually don't want one to come back. So, not yet. Let's use the clock to keep it from going too fast on us. It'll start here. It would be expensive to have more than one. Let's see if I can figure out using one of these. What are they called? Triplex bonding stations. Before I start thinking about adding a second one. Because I think if they were lined up in the right way with the 3 different bonds this way, you could drag a whole thing through. Flip it, add the other one, move it back. Flip it, add it, run it back. But that entails using 3 of these. And I'm not 100% sure that's the way I want to just spend 60 gold. But I might end up doing it. Let's see. Stop, add. Then after, we'll want this to be on a big pause. When it's done, it can retract it and start spinning it again. You need 2 more. That was way faster than I thought it was gonna happen. That's awesome. Cool. So I just want to watch it again. Very satisfied with how quick this happened. And then would I want to push it all the way out? So then I have more access to this and this. It's a possibility. Let's try that. Once it's done, we'll extend it one more time. And then swing it. Not gonna work. We might have to add it here. I hope that doesn't mess up the track of this. You don't need this last one. Once we extend it, we want to go one towards the minus. I'm a little confused how that works. Let's not swing it. We could just have another long thing. Take it from here. I think it'll still hit this going to the right. That's when this has to start again. Which is when this could happen to get it out of the way. This is a good spot to throw some stuff on. I figured it'll stay there, and this will be the piece that rotates it through the different bonds and stuff. It looks like we're gonna need to figure out a bond here on the outside pieces, and we're also gonna need another one here for these inside pieces. This one can come from here, and then this one can come from over here. Pulling from here is dangerous because one could end up getting out of sync. Okay, so what I've done is this thing will create the center. 3 will be our pivot point, moving it over here. And then 4 and 5 will attach the most outside and inner one at the same time, and then we'll twist with the third. That is the plan. So 3 is moving over. We have the whole molecule here. 5 and 4 ahead of time of this happening. We'll have to figure, well, 4 will move down and come back. 5 will go twice and come back. Let's see how this goes. Oh, whoops, of course. Can it go one after the other? It has to be 2 away. That is rough. It's when this is coming down, it hits this one. Well, let's move all of these actions to the beginning, because this sort of thing can be figured out way ahead of time. 5 can go 3, wait a beat, and then come back and release. So this might be what it will do eventually, but it needs to be out of the way. Five only has to move once. Excellent. And 4 can just swing back. That's fine. So 4 might have to wait to pick up and throw down once all of this is kind of in place. Wow, that is so obnoxious. That means 4 either has to be on track or be a piston arm. So far we've got fairly cheap stuff going on, which makes me want to throw this thing on a track instead. And which way do we want the track to go? Can it happen 1 beat sooner? Not at all. Well, we figured it out. This is what we've got. That means that these are here. And during that whole process, excitedly, I think we actually have a spot that we could throw this thing. Potentially out of the way. Would this spot get in the way long term? If it's rotating about this, this should also get this outside ring here. Now that we're at the end, we're going to extend our time waiting here a little bit. Potentially. Now we need 3. Need these to go back to grab the stuff. This is potentially going to be written out here. And let's turn it once this way. Once they've returned, I think 5 could 4 became more complicated now that it has the track. But once it gets here, I think it can just bop it on. It'll be ready. Okay, so we have the center part done. We have our extension here that'll eventually get swapped here. And now we're ready for a reset. Ah, they grabbed at the same time. I feel like 5 takes so little time. Let's move it here. That never gets less satisfying. That last triple bond. All right, 4 is gonna be a bit of a maniac here. We'll move this one out because 5's gonna take no time at all. This can grab it first because it'll need to grab it, move it 1 out, and then come back. So it doesn't hit anything else or collide. So we know this works. Done. Perfect. This just needs to be repeated once more. And I think that's it. Because we've got the center bits have salt. This, I think, will end up coming across this thing. 1, 2. This will end up being salt. Let's just have 3 after this point. Just spin around a couple times to make sure I don't have to add an extra salt anywhere. Oh wow, it just passes over it. That's really interesting. Would I be able to put a salt thing here without it ever turning into salt? I feel like it might grab the center when it pulls it over. Wow, it misses it. That's tricky. I thought that this would for sure end up colliding with the like center part. Yeah, let's get rid of this mania. We'll have to do it at least twice here to repeat what we did the last time. This last one doesn't hit anything. It is so close. This is it. I might just add one here. See how it goes. This also somehow gets completely ignored. So this is doing okay. I'm actually still a little confused on repeating stuff. Here, I'll try to show you what I'm saying. So this like line of progress moves all at the same time across everything here. It's like highlighting it. But I think starting this too early would end up in collisions across the six products or whatever. Because it'll start it again, I think. It won't. I really thought it would start over again. Interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely lost because sometimes I feel like a single line will start getting out of sync. And it'll start going back to the beginning where everything else doesn't do that. And I don't know what causes it. I'm definitely still confused by it. Because part of me feels like if this could start a little bit earlier, then it would be ready to get thrown in here and start. If after the second one, the 3 would be able to come back and get it, I guess so. Oh well, solution is done, and it's good to move on. That will perpetually get me, but I'm happy with the solution, and it came pretty fast after this mumbo jumbo got done, which is kind of what we figured. There. Does this look suspicious to you? Now that you've asked, I can't help but see it in the light of suspicion. But if you saw it on its own, without my having asked, would you think it's suspicious? Perhaps I wouldn't. It's difficult to say without seeing it in place. We'll have to trust that Nils knows how to place a charge unobtrusively. I have a feeling he's seen his share of this type of work before. And you're sure he knows where to place them? Claire has seen to that. She somehow obtained a map of all of House Colvan's properties, including their guard posts and armories. Ah, of course she has. I'll enjoy watching the neighboring houses rush in to claim Kovan's properties as their own. It's a fitting retribution. Overall, I got an average cycle, a below or above average cost, and slightly above average area. All right.